Guys, I'm starting to notice a pattern here, and I don't really think I like it. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Personality, bringing you all the news from the fighting game community, whether it's from a casual or competitive perspective. And today we've got some interesting updates from Granblue Fantasy versus Rising. Now this comes one day before the fully open beta testing. Your boy got a code, so you know I'm gonna be on that, dropping some content early before the open beta comes out. And what we're actually getting from the official Granblue Fantasy versus Rising Twitter is a very controversial statement that has been, making its rounds on Twitter and other social platforms. So they're saying that in Granblue Fantasy versus Rising, skills performed using both simple and technical inputs will have the exact same properties, offering no power difference. We hope this will allow players to choose the input method that works best for their own individual playstyles. So if you haven't played Granblue Versus before, you might be wondering, what does this change even mean? What does this imply? So essentially in that game, there were two ways of doing your special inputs. That being, you could use the shortcuts that they would have provided in-game, and then there's the other way to put it in, which would possibly align with a more traditional fighting game motion inputs. Now the difference is that there was a slight reduction in damage, as well as the additional cooldown time when those skills were used. So this is causing a bit of a headache for some players, that Granblue Versus is now getting this easy way out, this easy way to just bypass learning how to do special moves the traditional way in most fighters, and they're just relegating it to simple button clicks. And this of course has caused much discussion. More people are talking about whether these fighting games are becoming too easy, whether they're no longer possessing a challenge. This is way too easy for people who have been playing for so long. This is a disrespect to the core audience, and I must be honest here, the core audience that most fighting games would possibly refer to would be from the competitive perspective. Now the competitive scene, despite how big it may appear for somebody who's actually involved, and it is quite big, it does not, or these players do not encompass the majority of people who actually purchase these games. Unfortunately, there will always be more casual players than competitive players, and this is not just limited to fighting games. This is life on a whole. I know many people who play football, play basketball, but they don't play at a competitive level. It is okay for casual fans to have an ability to get into this game or get into this franchise, and feel free to not necessarily be challenged by the classic systems that would have existed and would have been the thing from so long. We have to look at the fact that many other people are now getting into fighting games, and by now getting into fighting games, they're coming from a lot of games where it's a much lower ceiling in terms of execution of special moves, or even just playing the game on a whole. And I don't see what's the big deal. There's no difference. Okay, if you do it with one button and maybe adjust that one frame faster, that option is also available to you. There's always this talk about the modern controls being Street Fighter's worst mistake, but I've been looking at competitive sets and I barely see anyone, or the top players who have been playing for all these years, use modern controls. There's always the use of classic controls. However, I have been seeing some online matches where even Daigo is playing against players who use modern, and you could see them keeping up. I don't think this is bad. And I'm pretty sure that person isn't just keeping up with Daigo because they've got modern controls on. We have got to be a bit more accepting in this community for people who are now trying to get into fighting games. It is a case where most people are turned off by the classic controls. Most people are turned off by how many hours of commitment they actually have to put into this game to get good. Seeing your rank go down is frustrating. That's where most matches take place. Some people don't even have friends on these games just to link and just casually play games with each other. So all they just settle down now. There's no real reason for it to become this crazy over a simple tweet like skills performed using both simple and technical inputs will have the exact same properties. I don't think that we should be putting more barriers to fighting games. Look at that. Street Fighter just allowed that modern control. As I always say, I don't think modern control is this big part of its success, but it's an option. And it's also how they went about marketing this game that, hey, everybody can get a chance to play. Even in Tekken 8, the simple style, that new style that's coming in, it doesn't give the person the most advantage in the world. But hey, when you're sitting on a game getting juggled from wall to wall and you don't know what to do, chances are you're just gonna turn this off, regret your purchase, and then we're just gonna keep festering people who just have this negative perspective of fighting games. And I don't think that is necessary for us to do at this moment. Guys, like I said, I got the code, so I will be playing Granblue Fantasy versus, putting out some videos, getting you guys updated. How does it feel? Some people say it's like a Street Fighter. Like, it's one of the most non-Street Fighter games. But what's your perspective on all of this? Do you think that more fighting games should add these features to not only encourage new players to stay, but give them a style, a way that they can approach this game? And it's time for us as a community to understand and grow that, look, more people want to play fighting games. If this allows them to play, then why should it be removed? But that's all we're going to be discussing today. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one. But until then, stay gaming.